So turn down the lights, lock the door. It's time for DJ's After Dark.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's Danny J, along with Dr. Rock Ray Thomas.
Hey, I'm glad we can work out the contract disputes. I'm back.
Yeah.
Rob Cannon.
Yeah.
Fast Eddie C.
Going on? How's things?
And Matt Sunner.
Howdy.
There you go. Guys, it's another edition of DJ's After Dark. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. It's right down below Rob and Dr. Rock over here. Just click on that little subscribe button there. Make sure you click on the bell for notifications. We can let you know whenever we have new episodes coming up. We have a lot of great stuff going on this channel, so I don't want you to miss anything. A lot of great new shows on there, which we'll mention a little bit later. But by all means, hit the subscribe button. Check it out. We do appreciate your support. Today on DJ's After Dark, we're going to be talking about what was the old, I would say probably it was a crazy, crazy time back in the 90s where we got into a country music 90s craze. And that's what the title of the show is today. Back in the 90s, and we're going to go back a little further. Going back into the mid-80s, prior to that, country music was really incorporated with top 40. A lot of top 40 stations played a lot of different country music stars, and country music was really just like engulfed in America, not in like some major form because everybody had their little bit.
Right.
I remember as a kid, heavily you had Kenny Rogers, you had Dolly Parton,
Eddie Rabbit.
John Denver, yeah. On
Eddie Rabbit.
On television,
Eddie Rabbit, yeah.
On television, we had the Mandel sisters.
Yes,
Barbara
we
Mandel.
did. Yes, we did.
If you remember that, I used to watch that show. So country music was just like turning on any other TV show. It wasn't like some kind of special thing.
It was a crossover time. It was country music actually crossed.
But we had true top 40 back then because
Yeah.
it was top 40 music. It wasn't top 40 rock. It wasn't top 40 dance. It was like when you listen to like an Eagle 106 as an example.
Right.
Eagle 106.
Right? Remember that?
Radio station.
Yeah.
Back is a friend of mine. Man.
You had
Stop.
Kenny Rogers.
You didn't tell me this was about country line dance, and you told me to get an Indian princess up there.
Yeah, Ed, you really got to read.
What are you doing to me, Dan?
You got to read the memos. I said, why don't you try looking up Indian Outlaw? And this is what he gets me.
I told you, Dan. Put that in big print.
No, you did not. You said Indian princesses. And there's my Indian princess right there. There she is.
Thank you for being there, Ed.
I think
Hey, listen, no problem.
I would venture to say she likes music too.
Maybe they could do a report first later.
Yeah, do a report for us later.
Could you picture her singing OPP?
Yeah, you know me.
I'm convinced Dan sends Ed the wrong memo every time.
Wrong memos.
OPP.
It's a setup, Ed. It's a setup. But as we move a little forward, and now the network, or not the networks, but the actual regions and everything, and music and radio, I should say radio, is now starting to change. We're starting to like branch out. We're starting to say, hey, people really like this type of music, so why don't we have a station with this format? Why don't we have that format? And top 40 was actually starting to go away. We still have quote-unquote top 40 stations, but they're not really top 40. They are kind of limited as to what they play at the most. In Philadelphia area, 95.7 is probably your biggest top 40 station because it plays just about everything. Because otherwise we have a...
Didn't Q go more top 40 now?
Is an XTU
Q is not top 40.
No,
Q is still dance.
country? Jennifer Reed, a friend of mine, is still XTU.
But that's what I'm getting to. We, in the late 80s, I want to probably say mid-80s, probably 85. Matt, you could probably look that up.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that real quick.
Take a look at that real quick. I think around 85.
Put a spreadsheet together, Matt.
That's when do some work on the show. I think what it was is that I think that's when 92.5 WXTU came into the market.
Yes.
Right.
And now we had a 100% country music station. And the old ads were, me, the old South Philly rock and roller. I like country music. That was the big, their big promo to say, hey, give it a shot. You're going to like it. And it was funny for me as a kid. Like, in that time era, I grew up listening to country amongst everything else. So it wasn't anything really different for me, but to go headlong into a country music station and say, all right, nothing else is going to change. I'm not going to hear Prince. I'm not going to hear Sheena Easton. I'm not going to hear, Aerosmith or whatever. This is it. I'm here listening to country. I said, so let me go on the station and as a joke, and I'll let's see what they have on there. And the first song I hear when I flip over to XTU was The Chair by George Strait.
Yeah.
And it's a great song. If anybody ever heard the song, it's a great song depicting a guy's pickup line to a girl. And it's a very sweet song, and it's a very it's funny when you think about what he said, and you're like, oh, how sweet that was. And it's one of those moments where you say, this would be something that someone would say at their wedding, that this is how they met, type of thing. And it was a nice song. And go ahead.
Hey, Dan, looks like about mid-'80s is when the line dancing kind of started picking up.
But it really, right?
But it really exploded early '90s. Most of the stuff I'm seeing is pretty much like when Achy Breaky Heart broke.
Can you see when WXTU came on the air?
Sure. Let me.
I think
give me a second here.
You've had something to do there. He's falling asleep.
Right. Ed, look up a little Bada. See what that was early 90s.
See if you're Indian Princess, we'll play. But but like what ended up happening was I left, and back then we had Walkmans. I know kids these days know what Walkmans are. Yeah. But I had a Sony Walkman. I left it on 92.5 like that night after listening to The Chair. I turned it off. And the next morning, getting ready for school, I put my headphones on, and the song that comes on immediately as soon as I turn it on was The Chair. No, was Any More from Travis Tritt.
Yeah,
which is probably one of the most beautifully written songs out there, period. I don't care if you like country or not.
And you can take that song two different ways.
1983, Dan. XQ came on 83.
Yeah. 83.
Country format.
You take Any More two different ways, because when you first hear it, you're thinking, I don't love you anymore. But then he really means that he loves her.
Yeah.
If you listen to it,
he can't keep pretending anymore. It's like the I love you. I can't pretend anymore.
Yeah.
I can't pretend anymore that I don't love you.
It's like a forbidden love, and he's like, I just can't do it. That's how. But and when I tell you a beautiful song, it is a beautiful song.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it is.
That song had me hooked. I said, holy shit, what a great song this is. And as a
Travis was good.
Travis is very good.
Yeah, my favorite was Keeper of the Stars.
Keeper of the Stars.
I thought that was another beautiful song.
But then what happened was I kept it on, and then the craze started going from there. I mean, not because
you started.
Because I started it, because I put on my fucking Walkman.
Yeah.
But
Danny J responsible for everything.
Right.
We'll be back in a moment.
Did Dan's parents go?
Before you call him by his studio name, Aaron.
Did Dan's parents go, where the hell is Dan? Oh, he's down in the basement with his Walkman or something like that. What's new, Dan? I'll be up in a minute.
So now you're
with the new craze.
Now I'm being introduced to stars like Travis Tritt, Tracy Lawrence, Alan Jackson, who's another big
Jackson.
Someone that was like it was almost like the same way I heard about Nirvana was Garth Brooks. Someone went on vacation right around that time, and they were down in North Carolina, I think, for vacation. They came back up and said, I was in the music store. Yeah, they had music stores back then, guys, with Sam Goody and the Wall.
I worked for We3. I worked for the booth.
Don't they exist?
No, they don't exist.
Hey, actually, I'll tell you right here in South Carolina, in Greenville, the mall in Greenville, South Carolina, still has an FYE in there.
Oh, God.
Oh, there you go.
For your entertainment. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Sam Goody's new name.
No, that was the Wall, because it was wall-to-wall sound and video.
Oh,
and then it went down to the Wall, because I worked for them.
Yeah.
And then
now we buy the top 5 in Panera's.
But you buy it right next to your bread.
And now, now Apple, you can't even buy music from them.
Yeah, Apple changed.
They're going to stop.
Yeah, they're breaking off. They're venturing out.
Everybody's streaming.
Is everybody? It don't make any sense to buy.
Which is ridiculous. I don't want to stream. I want my own stuff, and I want to listen to it when I want to listen to it in the order I want to listen to it in.
Correct.
But anyway, that's just my little rant for the moment.
Now you got all these guys that are producing great music. And one thing that can be said about country music, especially in the 90s, at this time, because it was such a breakout time, was the love songs.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not be denied. Whether we've done many weddings where we've said, like the rock weddings, or their hip hop weddings, stuff like that. Oh, we want a slow song. All right, well, it's going to end up being a country song. and it ends up being a country song because they're like, and you play it for them, and you're like, and they're like they're moved, so moved.
Country artists sing.
That's when everybody crossed over with Rascal Flatts and stuff like that because.
Well, now you're jumping forward. And Rascal
I know
Flatts
that, but that's
on its own.
Hey, you know, a good ballad is a good ballad. Period.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there was nothing more. And you want to say about a ballad because there's rock ballads, there's this, is that. There's nothing more heartwarming than a country love song.
yeah.
Now the joke is, oh well, my dog died, and this one died, and some of them are sad songs. Some of them are sad, and that's based on
their wife left them.
The condom broke.
You would think that would be a happy song, you know what I mean? But right, Ed. But
oh Lord, just you, Dan.
But you know, years later,
Matt's wife actually watches the show. Dan can get away with saying whatever he wants.
Yes, you know, my wife don't watch the show.
Actually, my wife doesn't watch it that much anymore. She's like, "Oh, really? Again?" She watches it to laugh at me,
You know
not
what I
with
mean?
me.
There you go.
Laugh at me.
But it's one of those things where you know, the country music, you know, it was a scenario where everyone was like, it was sad, and a lot of that dated back to certain scenarios of like being out on the range and cowboys that were like by themselves and were alone, and it was a legit thing. It wasn't like something stupid like people make fun of it, but it was a scenario where these people that were singing and you revert back to like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers and people like that.
Right.
They're like the cowpokes on the range, you know what I mean? But they're out there lonely by themselves, just traveling, and obviously they would sing about loneliness and I lost stuff and stuff like that. And there's a certain thing about that like emotionally hits people to say, you know, sometimes I want to be sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's weird because my dad was real big on country music, and I don't know if you remember it, but it used to be called Circle Ford, and it was across the street from Two Guys over in Broomall when Two Guys used to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to meet like Kitty Wells, and I got to meet Dolly Parton and all, because they would always have like these country things.
Were you staring at her boobs?
Oh my God, they weren't.
Who wasn't?
They weren't even real back then.
Her boobs were the only thing at the appearance.
Honest to God, she was
in Nashville.
It was called Keeping Abreast of Her Career. But the ironic thing was country music was always big. My dad was big on Floyd Kramer or something like, you know, and it was great. And I enjoy country music. Jeannie C. Riley with like Harper Valley PTA.
Right.
Even country music had crossed over long before Dan was down in the basement with his Walkman on going,
Right.
shit, what's the new craze? All right.
Right.
So
Geez, I mean, mid '80s, you know, Oak Ridge Boys, Elvira. I mean,
Elvira.
dear Lord, was there a bigger song than when that came out?
But
I
like I
don't think
mentioned
so.
earlier, Matt, was the Barbara Mandrell show.
Yeah.
I watched the Barbara Mandrell show religiously every week. And then the funny thing about television
sister
back
was a
then
porn actress.
was who your sister was a
No,
porn actress?
Barbara
Oh,
Mandrell.
Barbara Mandrell.
Her
Which
cousin.
one?
Her cousin.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say because the two
cousin.
sisters were on there.
Honest to God.
The one would have been a great.
Find that, Ray.
I was down the basement with my Walkman.
Ray, your mission, should you choose to accept it, find that video.
Fine.
Eddie,
Whose bed have your boots been under?
What are you saying, John?
Eddie, find that video.
Ed, find that video, Ed.
Ed, get rid of your.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm going to get right on that.
Get Ed a cup of coffee in that house.
And
All
it's
right?
like I was
All right.
listening to White
I'm
Line.
up all night. Okay, I'm exhausted.
I'll look that up on the 32nd, okay?
It
I'll
was
look that
like
up on the 32nd of the month.
listening to White Lines over and over again. But then you get it starts getting to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And 92.5, which is still around.
Yeah.
Now, how many years
Which
now?
is the other country bar we couldn't think of. Remember, we were like KP Corral.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
From 92.
I forgot about that one, right? So now it's country line dancing becomes a thing because it's becoming so big, and cowboy outfitters and all these things. Now country clothing is becoming a big thing, and now on and then CMT becomes a thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
After the Nashville network.
Yeah.
Kind of went more mainstream and became like TNT and TNT, didn't it? I think National Network. TNN became
They should have
TNT,
called it
didn't it?
TNA.
TNA.
Yeah, TNN. Eventually, I can't remember what exactly it was after Nashville Network, but eventually it did become like Spike.
I think it became Spike, and now it's
Spike.
the Paramount.
Paramount, there was like one or two stations in between the Nashville Network and Spike, and I can't remember what they were at the moment.
TNT, and now you're starting to see dance shows much like Dancing on Air, which was here in Philly, much
Yes,
like American
we worked on
Bandstand,
that.
which was here in Philly. Philly brought a lot of dance shows.
Yeah, we did.
We did Dance Down, right?
Dance Down.
Dance Down. We had our own show. Dan, that was way before you were born.
Way before I was born. Before I was born, I had danced.
Rob Cannon looked like Dan Cario, man. I'm not kidding you.
Then he grew
And
up.
those outfits.
Then he started looking like Freddie Prinze.
Right.
After a while.
Then I hung myself.
Then he looked like Freddie Prinze.
There's still videos of Rob Cannon's van parked on the side street back there in the country craze.
Kids leaving.
Yeah.
All strung out.
Yeah.
Where is our daughter? Go find out where Rob is.
But
right.
but now you start getting these crazes and you start getting these dances, and then when Rob, do you happen to know when KP Corral opened?
I want to say late 80s.
Like 89, 88, 89?
Yeah, something like that.
What was it?
I know
before
I didn't
you
start right away with that.
That was
either.
Popcorns.
I couldn't remember. I remember it was a club. Yeah, it was.
So you're talking about a club, and then we're now getting into the clubs because now 92.5 is very, very popular. And we're getting into now people want more. People want more. The DJs on 92.5 were very personable. The DJ format was very fun and it was very family. And it wasn't like, you know, like Motormouth, Terry Ruggles, or any of that bullshit. It wasn't like that.
Terry Young.
Terry Young. Terry Young.
Terry Young.
That's
Young.
my boy.
But I know that's your boy.
Terry's still on the air.
Terry Young is a friend, man. He used to be on WCU in all those days. Yeah.
He's still on the air right now. He's in Tampa.
Yeah, he's in Florida.
And sends them flowers.
Nice.
And like they
You don't send me flowers anymore.
What happened, Ed?
Anything ever slip by you? You just can't keep your mouth shut.
I know, right? I'm
What's
that good.
going on, man?
I'm that good.
Yeah.
But
Drink your coffee.
Ed, you need a vape pen, man.
I'm like heroin or something.
Okay.
Look up when the Flintstones
Ed's got his
first came
eye.
on.
Click on Ed.
Yeah, the
Click on that.
Let me look on that. Go ahead, Ed.
Go ahead.
Do your eye. Thank you, Ed. It's so sexy.
Christ, now it's turning into Annabelle.
He's like Doctor Strange, but like in real.
Yeah, but it's,
Like,
it's starting to look
Strange.
like the Annabelle movies. All right, so where's the doll? I don't know.
He looks like Bob Cratchit right out there this morning.
Hey guys, I wasn't able to find anything specifically as far as when KP opened up, but I did find an article from 1994 that mentions it. So you figure it's got to be the very end of the 90s, the end of the 80s, early 90s.
End of the 80s.
Yeah. I'm losing so many.
Ed, you into this, huh?
You into this, Ed?
But I think one of the biggest crossover hits that got people in the country, and you had said it earlier, Matt, was what was it? Achy Breaky Heart. I mean, you could be in the middle of a rock party and people would go, "Hey, do you have Achy Breaky Heart?" And that was your crossover.
You know,
that was your crossover.
And I think really too, what helped make it such a craze was a lot of the newer country artists you had coming up.
Right.
They grew up listening to that traditional country, you know, Roy Rogers and your Gene Autry and, you know, Hank Williams Sr. and everything. But they were also growing up in a heavy, you know, classic rock. They were coming up with, you know, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Doors and up in, you know, getting into the 70s, you know, with Kiss and everything else. I mean, you know, Garth Brooks himself was like a big Kiss fan.
Yes,
he did. He covered their song. Now I'm having a brain fart. Hard Luck Woman for the Kiss tribute album.
Yes.
And it's funny you say that because like Tracy Byrd was a big Boston fan.
Yes.
Really?
He loved Boston and Kansas. Yeah. And
so all these
great bands.
No, I just find that funny for them, you know.
Right. Well, that's what they grew up with.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, they were all listening to that, and you had their sound was a lot of this traditional country. Was a lot of this traditional country fused with some of those more, you know, folk and classic rock elements, and it really made it to the point where the older generation enjoyed it because it had enough of that traditional country sound, but the younger people loved it because it was updated and a lot of the lyrics you could relate to them more.
I thought
that's really what came to. You could really relate to the lyrics and the message of the song.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot more.
People in the late '80s were not relating to a boy named Sue. They
No.
probably just weren't at that point
Right.
anymore.
Although that was a great song.
It was a great song, and if you
Was.
play it now it's like, oh yeah, play that, because there's a newfound appreciation
Right.
for
Yeah.
a lot of the older songs because of that. They've gotten through the pop countries with, I think they like to call it. It's called pop country.
Yeah.
Well, if you go back and listen to some of the old Beatles albums, there was always a little bit of a flair of country music. And I'll be damned if I can think of it because I used to play it all the time. It was a Beatles song. Oh my God. Now I'm having the brain fart. My God, Rob, open the window in here.
Well, like
Um,
one of my favorite songs, which comes
Act Naturally.
from Lionel Richie, is "Stuck on You,"
Right.
which is by all means a country song.
Yeah.
It's by all means a country song.
Who wrote it?
I
Did Lionel write
I
it?
think Lionel wrote that. I think
Maybe he
Lionel
wrote it with like Kenny Rogers.
Maybe he
He
wrote
was
it.
a very
Some-
good friend with him, and Kenny
Correct.
Rogers was at his concert and stuff like that. So I mean, it's very possible.
Maybe they did it easy on a
Um,
Sunday morning.
He did a duet with doing that song with Darius Rucker.
Yep.
Which was really good.
Mhm.
But when
Let her
but when
cry.
92.5 XTU got real big,
Right.
and they got so big now that they're doing an anniversary show,
Mhm.
and they put
Yeah.
on a big show at Penn's Landing was originally where they used to do it, and they would get all these big country stars. So you had Brooks
Yeah.
and Dunn, and you had
Neon, baby. Moon.
Tanya Tucker, and you had
Delta
Reba
Dawn.
McEntire, and you had Alabama, and you had all these big bands coming
Right.
together in one big super concert to celebrate this radio station's anniversary, which was crazy when you think
Yeah.
about it for a second. 'Cause what radio station gets
Q
that kind of
used to do
airplay?
that too.
Yeah, that gets that kind of pull.
Right.
I mean,
Q.
Well, Q had the Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Q had the Monster, and get all the different acts together and stuff like that. But they didn't do that till later. They really didn't do that till
Yeah,
later,
I'm
and I
not
think
sure.
it had to do with this when 92 did it, and they were able to do it successfully every year and get different artists and that type of thing. It was a viable thing for the radio station
Yeah.
to get promotion.
Sure.
Did they start charging for that eventually? Before they used to just give.
No, it's
it,
free.
so-
It's still free.
Alright.
They still have it now.
Yeah, I know, but I could swear after a while. Maybe I'm thinking the Monster
Monster, they might have
concert
just
started
started
charging.
charging, yeah, because those people aren't paying money.
chances are we gave out R&L frisbees and back in them days, and
But now you're talking
Cool
about
bags and stuff.
now it's taken off to where we're getting these huge concerts,
Mhm.
free
Right.
concerts from these
Yeah.
gigantic artists. We're not getting concerts from
You think they're doing it for free?
the guy.
Just expenses paid.
Expenses paid because it's promotion. It's all promotion.
Yeah, because you figured each band only did maybe like 20, 25 minutes. Which
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
for
they
a country
were-
artist, it's still about like 8 or 9 songs, but they're able to kind of come in there, quick hit it, and get back
Well,
out.
let's
Like
face
a lot of
it,
times, it's like
they're-
kind of like a stop in the middle of the tour.
But
kind of
think
like
about-
the California Jam, if
But
you
think
remember
about what
that.
it did. First of all, they're making this big jump. Country music is making this big jump, and this 92.5 is growing like a fucking mountain, right? And what better way to scratch each other's back than to say, hey, we go to this 92.5 XTU anniversary party. They're getting a huge amount of promotion because we're there. And now these artists are here into free concerts. And now they're potentially bringing in people that weren't country fans.
Right.
Hey, come with me to the XTU concert.
They're crossing
It's free.
over
Right,
again.
right.
You know what, Rob? If I told you, like, name a genre of music that you generally do not like.
I'm not big on classical. I think it's too boring.
He
Like-
picks fucking classic.
Well, that's music.
All right, we're gonna use this as
But
an
you have a love of
example.
violins and shit.
You're
now?
gonna have to stretch your
You said that I
imagination
don't like.
that you don't like.
Yeah, classical. I'm not big on.
But
But
now,
you know, what,
now, some of everybody else
when do you
will-
hear about a classical concert?
Oh, I like that.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh
Alan.
my God.
Alabama opens for Beethoven. All right, so
I don't know. A heavy metal, real heavy.
Okay, heavy metal. All right, so let's say, I don't know, Metallica.
Right.
Okay, we'll say Metallica, which nobody doesn't like Metallica, but
Yeah.
let's say Metallica, and I say, Rob, come with me to this concert. The tickets are $50, $75, and you're like, well, I don't like that kind of music.
but I'll
I
go if
wouldn't
the
wanna
tickets are
spend,
free.
But
I'm not gonna
I
spend that
know
kind of money.
Metallica's music actually is pretty good.
Rob, you're breaking up the fucking thing that I'm trying
Okay,
to say
go ahead.
here. Shut up.
All right,
You
go.
don't like the music.
All right,
that's
I
the
don't
point of
like
it.
the music.
All right, let's let's go a little bit more extreme than Metallica. Hey, Rob, we're gonna take. You want to come to the Slayer concert?
We're going to
Yeah,
Slayer
yeah,
concert. There you go.
thank
Megadeth.
Lamb of God.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Oh, it's opening for them, right?
Yeah,
so now
right.
you say, hey, now and imagine you're younger now. I got to explain this whole thing out.
Go ahead.
The audience understands what I'm saying, but he doesn't. So now you're younger and you actually physically go to places, and Lisa's not bothering you about going shopping and bullshit like that, right? You can go out if you want to. So
But you got Montevanti playing in the car, right?
Tickets are $75 a ticket. You're like, well, why would I spend $75 for a ticket for music that I don't like? Right? That's common sense. Now, if I say to you, listen, Rob, all of us, Ed and Ray and Matt, we're all getting together. We're going to go to the East Center.
And it's on Danny J's.
It's not even the East Center. It's
on Danny J's.
It was the East Center in the 90s when the country craze was going on.
We're all going to go. It's got lawn seats, which was a new thing. Lawn seats was a big new thing. That was a cool thing to sit there and say, hey, you can go to a concert cheap. Just fucking bring a blanket with you.
Rob was going as long as they had the Philadelphia Philharmonic Orchestra.
So I say, Rob, we're going to be able to see a bunch of heavy metal bands or whatever, but it's free concert. We're just going to hang out and drink and do whatever. You're going to be
younger then.
You're younger then. You're going to be more likely to go because it's free.
And it's free. I'm not really going to a concert. I'm going to hang out with my buddies, and some of their favorite music just happens to be playing.
Right, that music is playing. So you're going to get crossover fans now who are going to go there and hear these country artists. Now, understand, they're getting artists at that time, right? They're not getting
Kitty Wells.
They're not getting Kenny Rogers. They're not getting Dolly Parton. They're getting people that are doing music right now. Tim McGraw. They're getting Books and Dunn. And these guys who can also rock out if they need to in their country music. What'd you say, Ed?
No, I just agree with Ray.
Oh, yeah, very good. And then,
most people are good, Ed. Most people are good.
People are good. That's correct.
People are good.
People are good.
It's common.
Knocking in boots.
If I take it back to when I was younger, back in the day when country became popular, I really didn't care for it. And to be honest with you, when I got asked to do the job, Tony Bruno actually talked me into
Tony's a friend, an old man. Back in the old
Tony
WFAL.
Bruno used to do club music. When I was doing club music back then too, I was working actually at Mardi Gras. Anyway, long story short, Tony called me up one day and he's like, yo, Rob, how would you like to do KP Corral? I'm like, dude, really? I said, I don't do country.
Say no, I'm listening to classical in my car.
Country. He goes, well, there's a lot of good stuff. It's easy to learn. You could catch on. He goes, you'd have to train. So I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'll do it, right? Because the pay was decent.
Twist his arm. Twist his arm.
The long story short of that, I really said to myself, if I'm going to get into this job, I got to get into the music, because it's hard to get into a job like that. You have to play that type of music and not like it.
I mean, you can still have your preferences. Understand that, folks. You can still have your preferences in music. My preference in music is classic rock, but I like everything.
I do too.
And just to exclamation point what you just said, to play R&B, to play hip hop and stuff like that, you have to kind of like some of it. You have to try and find something redeeming about this thing that you don't like, because otherwise, as a DJ, remember we said it before, we're actors in a sense.
But I think that's the problem with DJs today. Like Dan said, you have to go back and look at all the stuff. There's DJs that come in today that DJ and they only know one style of music and they have no clue. They have no.
I know,
and it shows on their face every weekend.
I know too. When I first started working with Rob, and one of the first things
he cowboy hat and an assless chaps.
He was
no, never the assless chaps.
I try to talk him into it.
Rob wanted me to, but I said no. Sorry, pal. No,
I'm sorry. I'm out for cutting you off. Go ahead.
But anyway, the first thing he did was like, hey, first thing you want to do is there's a music service out there. Best thing to do is get, order this up. You're going to get the music every month, and it was all what was currently coming out that month. Yeah. And I used to sit there when I get them in the mail. I'd get home, I'd sit down, do whatever I was going to do, and I'd start popping these CDs in and start listening to it. And I'd sit there with the track listing and go, okay, with a highlighter. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that one. I like that, especially in formats that I wasn't as familiar with or wasn't as big of a fan of. Because that way, then when I'm doing a job and I'm looking to do stuff, I can flip through my music and sit there and be like, there's another highlighted one. There's another highlighted one.
You liked it.
And I could sit there and I knew it. It's popular. It's on the radio right now, and I like that. So I can be excited about the song as I'm playing it. I can get the crowd hyped about it because, again, I like it.
Right.
Here's what forces you to do, too. You like a song. You like a particular song. As a DJ, we got to have bumpers in and out. of everything.
Yep.
Mhm.
So now you got to find similar songs to bump in and out of that song. So now that forces you to like different songs, and it forces you to really pay attention. Well, pay attention to this song. If you like that one, try this one. So you're not going to be as closed-minded, and you're going to go in there. So now you fast forward a little bit, the craze goes nuts, and now there's dance clubs. We have these dance clubs out there, and you're talking locally for us in the Philadelphia area. We had KP Corral, we had Bronco Billy's, we had KP Corral,
Columbia Station.
We had 92.5.
Yeah.
Got through, and that was towards the end.
And
And
there was one in Jersey. I still can't.
and we'll explain what that was about in a second. But
Yeah,
KP
92.5 opened up after KP.
Thank you. That was the one in the Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in Jersey.
There
That was
was
Jersey. Yeah. Bronco Billy's was Northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but now you're talking about, and we went. How about it? I mean, it was a place that, and Matt used to come with me, and Rob was there, and we had met so many people there. And what it's funny to say as an experience, to say what KP Corral was like. It's almost like I envision it like a book, a really good book. And Matt, tell me if you don't see it any differently. That you have up on the bookshelf, and you look at it fondly and say, "Yeah, that was a really good book. It was a really good story."
Yeah.
You know, KP Corral. We met so many people, and we did so many things.
I wish I had started going earlier, because I know I had some of my family members were a lot bigger in the country than I was. I mean, growing up, my grandmother used to listen all the time, and I had an appreciation for it. But they started telling me, like, "Hey, there's this place in King of Prussia. It's called the KP Corral. On Sunday, they do a family day. It's an all ages day." And like we go up there and we dance. And I kept thinking, the first thing I heard was like, it's a family day. I'm like, I'm going to see all old people up there.
Yeah, you're going to see like,
it's why am I going to hang out with these people? You know, it's like, I'm going to be people who are old enough to be my parents mostly. And then finally, I meet Dan, and he's all like, one day he's like going, "Hey man, I was like, what are you doing?" It was like, "We're working on Sunday or something." And he's all like, "Yeah, I'm going to place KP Corral." I'm like, "Yeah, I heard of that." I was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll go check it out." I was like, okay, granted, I'm going to have somebody my age there. So if he's going and he's enjoying it, and I went, and it was just like going, this place is awesome, because it wasn't mostly older people. It was mostly that
18 I was already going there
18 to 20 crowd.
I was already going there 3-4 years at that point.
Matt didn't start till later.
So later, because I met Matt when I was 21. I started going there when I was like 18.
If you think about it, if EP never came around, honestly, I probably would have never met Matt or you.
Well, that you met me, right?
No, I already met you, but we wouldn't have been hanging out.
It might have potentially been some other place.
Maybe.
You know.
You might have. I don't know. Like I kept.
I mean, there's
doing this DJ.
But KP Corral was just such an amazing place, and understand what they used to do for their people. Like when we used to go on Fridays. How about it, Matt? We have to go on Friday nights. We were able to get in at 4:30. Happy hour started at 5.
Right.
So you got in, you paid $5 to get in.
Well, wasn't it free for the first 2 hours?
No.
I thought it was.
I was always looking.
What
for
you had
freebies.
was you went in there and you had the free you had the free buffet barbecue.
Right.
So you were able to get burgers and ribs and fucking hot dogs and stuff like that, which was awesome.
They could write.
Yeah, which I always missed out on, unfortunately, because I was always working until at least 6 o'clock at night, and then by the time I got there, it was done. Or I was working until closing, only getting there to like 10 o'clock.
And then you had like $2 16-ounce draft beers.
Yeah.
Back then, that's 90s pricing. You know what I mean? But like, we got hammered, and you're drinking from 4:30 in the afternoon. I would stop drinking about 12:30, 1:45, and have to sober up and stay in the parking lot until 3, so I could drive home.
Yeah.
Right?
Dan was still trying to pick up One Tooth Gladys.
But let me tell you something, though. There wasn't a sexier time.
Yeah.
Than during those times. When you see behind us, you got these people dance and stuff like that, and you're like, "Oh, look how cheesy this dude thinks he's this shit." This kind of black shirt.
That girl looks pretty good, right?
Right? But guess what? That's what it was. How about it, Rob? Yeah. That ain't a lie.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's obviously staged because these are professional dancers, but that's what KP Corral looked like.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing that. There were some talented people that were there. And let me tell you something.
Competitive, too.
But everybody was just hanging out and having fun. And it didn't matter.
They all had fun.
Whether you could dance or you couldn't. They were, "Hey, come on, I'll show you how to do this."
And it's funny to say that because we were in there one night and a couple guys came in that were not regulars, right? And imagine, I was there now 5-6 years, right, as a regular there, and the rest of us are. And some girl walked by, and I did one of these jobs with my hat and gave her a wink or whatever, and that was it.
She smacked him right in the teeth.
No, her boyfriend turns around. Oh, what do you got? The problem? You got this? You got that? Whatever. And he goes, "Why don't we go right now?" I said, "Dude,
you wanted to fight?
You wanted to fight because I looked at his girl."
Oh my God!
I said, "Dude,
I hate people like that."
I went like this, literally.
God, I hate people like that.
Nobody fights in here. I said,
you challenge him to a dance off?
Yeah, you challenge him to dance. Let me get my Kevin Bacon out.
I want to dance.
I'm like,
Dan Boji, the original Star-Lord.
He started to do the John Travolta dance.
Fat dance.
Nobody throws Danny in the corner. Nobody.
Rob, hit it.
Yeah.
Well, we did a lot of fun.
But that guy would have started with you.
Here you go. I'll tell you right now.
Hold on,
Here's,
okay. If that guy would have started with Dan, he probably would have had 10 other guys backing him up. And including the doormen.
The doormen were pretty much like you were walking outside. The doormen were almost like, "We'll give you 10 minutes before we call the cops."
It's not because I'm a big deal or something like that, but everybody there was a regular. We were all very nice.
You brought people with you.
Brought people with us.
Matt
can contest to this. Our group of people that we met up with there, and hung with there, and it sounds like fictitious, but it's not. Was at least 25 deep.
Yeah.
A group of people that took up the whole corner of the dance floor. That was our whole group.
Yeah. Now, granted, you were tighter with some people than others within that group, but it was still, you all knew each other and you all hung. It's like, this was your friend and this was a friend of the friend or the friend of the friend of the friend kind of a thing.
I was hung.
Back in the 80s, I was hung.
And one more fun, because we're running late, but one funny thing about that was, like, one night there was a regular there, and she was a real nice woman. And she went there all that, and she loved country line dancing, and she was an older one and stuff like that, and her birthday happened. So Rob comes to me.
Got a natural lamb.
Rob comes to me, he says, "Dan, I need you to do me a favor." I said, "All right, well, what's up?" And he whispers in my ear. I said, "All right, whatever, right?" Now imagine, and you're not even getting it in these images. Matt, let me see your talk real quick.
Tra-la-la. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
One of the pictures here are really showing it, but there were some fancy outfits,
dress wear
for country line dancing. And I'll never forget, because the night that he asked me to do this, I was wearing black jeans. I had water snake cowboy boots, so that's like white skinned cowboy,
like white and gray, black,
right. And then my shirt literally matched the boots.
Right.
And it was like a thing that went up like this.
I remember that.
And it had the water snake on the shirt.
We had that on video.
And Dan's underwear had hee-haw going across the front of it.
So apparently this was this woman's 49th or 50th birthday. Something like that. So Rob says, "Dan, I want you to strip for this woman." Right?
Not for real strip.
No, he said for real strip, and I said, "Well, no,
the other shit was in the van.
Right?
So that was in the van."
So I said, I need you to practice for me.
Come up here to the DJ booth
and strip for me now.
Look at my disco ball.
So the thing was, I said, "Well, I'll come out. Like, you'll say like we have a special guest for you, whatever." And then you'll play like and I forget what music you played. It was some kind of clubby
Sally Shore theme song.
And I come sliding out on the floor, because the floor's all like, sandy and stuff
like old time rock and roll.
Yeah, like, and I go out there and I got I got this black hat and I got this fucking water snake. And I thought I would have banged myself. I looked pretty hot in the fucking thing, right?
You often did.
I did.
Most men by that time were in the bathroom.
So now she's sitting there. So I start stripping, and the deal was, I said, "Rob, when I get to the point where I turn around, I'm going to start to take my pants off. I'm going to look to you, put my back to her, and I'm going to go like this. And you turn and you say, 'Oh, no, don't do that,' right?" And that was the deal. So we go out there, and all these women are they're like, they're screaming, right?
He's got hairy ankles.
And I go, look at that, look at his hairy ankles. It's fucking orangutan out there.
This lady wouldn't leave Dan alone after that.
Right. And so I go in there, and I have like a white wife beater tank top. I mean, it was the 90s. So
just like a porn movie. We're going to get to the end.
I go like this, I I snapped my button.
Oh,
off
God.
of the thing, right?
And the
everything.
doorman,
Woo,
the
right?
doorman ran up and escorted him out.
Right.
Flintstones.
So I turn
Meet the
around.
Flintstones.
I turn around and I start like shaking my ass like this, right? And I go, and Rob's enjoying the show, and he's not paying attention that that's the fucking call sign, right? So I'm
Take
like,
him off,
so
cowboy.
now I'm like this, right? I'm like this, and he's not. I'm like,
People are yelling out. He's got no ass. He's got no ass.
So then he's like, oh, there jumps in, right? It was like his ADD kicked in. He's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. So then he puts the types up, and then that woman wouldn't leave me alone. But I got a lot of dates from that.
You're welcome.
I did.
I'll tell you, and that was the thing. That was the thing about that place. I mean, it was laid back. Everybody was there to have fun, and everybody realized it. And Dan probably remembers this because I told him I was going to do it, and he's like, "You won't do it." It was Christmas time. And I'm like, I'm going to go walking in there, and I'm going to go in with mistletoe hanging from my belt buckle. And he's all like, no, you won't. I'm like, yeah. So sure enough, I show up. I got mistletoe hanging from my belt buckle, and nobody got like, oh, you're a creep, you're a dirtbag. Everybody laughed because everybody was there having a good time. It was just a great, good time vibe. Everybody knew it was just in good fun and that was the thing. I mean, a lot of places you'd try going that and doing that somewhere else. Some people would be all like, "Oh, what a crumb, dirtbag! Get this guy out of here."
The one problem with these places were though, and Rob will contest to this, and this is why, as fast as they came in, they left, was because the people that would go there were not drinkers. Yeah. They were not tippers.
Well, your group was.
Because we were young people. Yeah. We were in our 20s.
But the older folks that went
there did the religiously
water.
Went to bottled water
and refilled.
Yeah. Like they didn't put money out. They didn't tip. They didn't do any of that stuff. So the guy who owned it was getting hammered by King of Prussia, the mall itself.
Yeah. He was putting out money and he wasn't making it back.
Well, the mall expects a part of the money,
right? Yeah,
not just the rent. They want a percentage of your business.
Yeah. So it got to be too much for that guy, and he ended up closing it down. And then what happened?
Well, because also too, Dick Clark offered a bunch of money. He wanted to make it a bandstand grill. So the mall basically the mall was like, we're not renewing your lease. We're not renewing your lease because Dick Clark wants to give us a big ass load of money.
And he did. And he wasn't there that long.
No, he wasn't. Like 2 years, I think.
And now Fox and Hound
been there for a while.
It's been there since Dick Clark.
Yeah,
and it has not changed, and it's going strong. Yeah. We actually just had a KP Corral reunion last year.
Danny did that same dance again.
I did. That woman's now a skeleton.
She's nearsighted and
she's a skeleton
blind almost.
She's like a
right.
Hey, Sonny, I remember you. I'll take my teeth out for you.
Hey, wake up, man. Ed, you all right?
Yeah, this has been a learning lesson. Let me just tell you, I enjoyed listening to you talk.
All right. We're gonna
stare at Ed.
No, Ed's like Folgers, coffee in his cup.
Yes.
Why didn't you ever tell me about this place?
EP?
Because he wanted to be successful.
You were.
Ed, put some ice on that. Put some ice on that real fast.
Yo, Eddie, you weren't in the country back
then.
Ed,
if you went there in a jogging suit, they would throw you the fuck out of there.
Ed, you knew I was working there. It's not like you didn't.
No, I knew you were working. What was called popcorn?
Popcorns, yeah.
Corral. But you didn't like country back then.
But I liked the club atmosphere.
And it was a club atmosphere.
And it was. The way we got people to build on that club was because we used to change the music for 10 minutes to dance music.
Yes.
And the people that like dance music came in just for that and to watch the country dance.
And they were drinkers.
And eventually, yes.
And they were drinkers.
And eventually they got into country music.
They did. Right. It was a crossover thing. So the country was very big. But like I said,
at the beginning, I didn't even understand.
As fast as it came in, it started to leave. Because once KP Corral, which was the granddaddy of them all, like the other places were like Bronco Billy's.
Yeah.
Was a really nice place. I don't know how they called it. Huge.
Dan, how big was that place? That
Which
was
really
big.
Bronco Billy's?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I think it restored something.
Was that like a roller rink or something?
I think it was. I think it was an outdoor event.
It was like a huge place, and I went there one time and I said, "Wow, dude!" Like I was intimidated. I was like, it was like huge, right?
I wonder if it was the Star
like
gymnasium.
It was like it was like a huge gymnasium. It was like going to see the Sixers,
right?
At the vet, but like it started to go down once KP closed down. Rob starts bouncing around from place to place. We go to a place, Columbia Station, which didn't have the motif at all.
That was actually some KP regulars that opened that up.
Yes,
because it was basically like a rental hall, basically almost like kind of like a reception hall for different functions.
They didn't have the money.
Love is not enough. You have to have the money, and that's what it came down to. It really was. For love of that place, they said we got to keep this going, and they did. They tried, and they kept on Sundays, and they said we'll do everything the same, and it just wasn't, and it went down. And then,
it have the atmosphere too, and that's actually what I feel killed Club 92.5.
But you know what? Though I was just ready to say this: Club 92.5, which was Club Ice.
It was Ice before.
King of Prussia.
But what happened was in Club Ice, or when it changed over to 92.5, that was like country's last ditch effort to keep line dancing going. And 92.5 wasn't really involved. I think it was just a leasing of the name.
Yeah.
So like they weren't actually involved with the club.
Yeah. But it was just the draw. It was the draw, so everybody knew it was now a country bar.
Right. And it was like, and they did cross promotion in there, but they really didn't have anything to do stake wise in the bar. And that had a great atmosphere. It was smaller than KP Corral.
Actually, I'll actually disagree with you on that, Dan, because my biggest problem with 92.5 was you walked in.
You don't disagree with Dan.
You'll find yourself right off the shelf.
No. My problem with Club 92.5 was this.
Yeah, I had contract disputes.
It didn't feel
wrestling show no more.
It didn't feel like a country bar. It didn't feel like a country bar. It felt like a nightclub that was having a country night.
When I saw a girl in a tank top, a cowboy hat, and a pair of tight jeans, I didn't care what it looked like in there.
He started to sound like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
I never did.
It didn't have that feel. That was what made KP Corral great. You walked in there, it felt like a country bar. Yeah. There was wood. There was country. The motif was there. Club 92.5 looked like it was a dance club, and they threw up some country artist pictures with their gold records, whatever. And it's like, hey, it's a country bar.
But like we said, as fast as it came in, it died. It left.
Right.
And I don't know if it had anything to do with like the Seattle sound coming in and destroying everything, because I think Seattle can be blamed for everything.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole grunge thing just
movement just destroyed everything that was good about music at that point.
We went from beer to lithium.
Well, we did. But
anyway, we got
what a great time reminiscing about that.
Yeah, we had a great time.
It made Rob Cannon.
Yeah,
it really did. He was a superstar.
Actually, I was more popular doing the nightclubs, and Skate Odyssey.
Well, Skate Odyssey. You wanted them 12-year-olds.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
He was popular amongst those 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob. Only one co-host can agree with Dan at a time.
We're in his van back then.
Only one.
Only one. You can't disagree with Dan. That country made you. I'm the one disagreement allowed in the show.
That is a for it. But you know,
God.
But you know, it was a cool thing, and you know, one thing I could say about, like I said, was that. It was just such a great time. It was a fun time, and it's something that I love reminiscing about, because it was a really a time of love and everything like that. Guys, we got to go.
But we're like Woodstock. We're out of here.
This is true. So, go ahead. That's the wrong one.
Yeah, I was wondering what you were doing.
That was for another show, Ed.
We'll do it live.
We're live.
There you go.
Looks like the sun's coming.
That's right. So for Dr. Rock Ray Thomas,
hey, I had a rockin' time.
We got
Join us
Rob
next
Cannon,
time for
Eddie C,
DJs After Dark.
and my good friend Matt Sunner. Guys, have a great day, guys.